Chatham Board of Education regular meeting, March 12th. It is 7, and I would like to have everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, exits are located at either end of this room, and then you can follow either hallway out to the exit to the outside. All right, we'll get to our elementary school updates.
Cupcake decorated with Miss McLaughlin, gym time with Mr. Kelly, and this week you could earn a book at the PTO's Spring Book Fair. It's great so many teachers volunteer their time to do pumpkins with us. In February, we had our second annual contest dance. A lot of people came and it was really fun. We really liked playing games and dancing and made a really fun friends. In third grade, we have been working on division. This has been one of the hardest things we've learned in math this year. We are all working hard to improve our division skills, and we are making good progress. In writing, we have begun to work on informative writing. Give kids a topic we really love and are passionate about. I'm writing about Taylor Swift and all of our writings about her. There's a topic we love, so we can really be an expert and share this knowledge with our classmates. The student class has a way to deliver a presentation in a few weeks or so. In STEM, we just finished building our pool. It was a real challenge to get plentiful water and meet building specs. Now we have the chance to improve that. In gym, we just finished up a unit on basketball. We just finished our health unit on having a healthy heart. This was connected to the Kids' Heart Challenge in February. During the week of March 3rd, the elementary school celebrated Readers Across America in importance with the National Education Association. This year's theme is celebrating Nation of Diversity. Many exciting activities are planned, including welcoming families, administrators, and Board of Education members into our school as guest readers. Middle school students and high school students also came in to read. It was an exciting week. Thank you to all who supported this wonderful event. We had a special celebration of Cherokee Center. 6 students, Brendan Hatfield, Jordan Carter, Harper Corbett, Rosie Thomas, James Gilroy, and Alex Montgomery have been selected at their mini story published. They wrote a 100-word fairy story following the theme, A Wander into the Woods. This is the second time this school year Miss Reno students participated in this creative writing contest and will have their work published. Miss Parsons and Miss Lettieri, our reading specialists, have partnered with both high school students and senior citizens to act as reading buddies to some of our EHS students. They come into the school each week and read together, play games, and learn about each other. This has been a great way to build relationships between the elementary schools and their community. Everyone participating loves it. Thank you for having us. Do you have any questions?
What was your favorite book during the reading challenge?
I really like the book that Oliver Mom read.
What one was that?
What was it called?
It was one of the Grumpy Monkey of All Night.
Yes.
You're doing a great job. These are the students from the Reno's class who did the writing contest.
Yeah, if you can let us pass it around, okay? Thank you.
If you're Mrs. Silverberg student, did you read the one and only Ivan this year yet? Did you like that book?
Yeah. We're almost done with it, and so far it's actually pretty good.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. That's good to hear.
These kids are painfully cute.
I don't have any questions, but I did enjoy coming in to read to the school. That was really fun. I hope you guys had a lot of really good readers. Have anything, Jackie?
Thank you. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Jim, do you have anything for them?
No, other than thank you and continue doing a great job.
Okay.
Thanks for coming. You guys were great.
Thanks for bringing in the pictures.
Thank you very much.
All right, we've just discovered that the audio is not working on this meeting, so we have backup in place with Mr. Francesi, who is recording the meeting, and it will be posted at a later time.
I would ask if you're going to use this backup that people speak up as much as they can, because I've only got the one little microphone here, and it's good, but not perfect.
Okay, all right, so, fine. All right, well then we're going to move on to the report of the board chair. As you can see, I am not Mrs. Stricker. She is away, so I'm sitting in for her tonight. Good evening, and thank you for coming. Thank you for the elementary presentation. That was really good. I'd like to remind families that we are actively working out the town and school budgets. Now is the time to get informed as we get closer to finalizing. In accordance with this process, the Board of Ed budget was presented to the Board of Finance on Monday. You can find that on YouTube. The detailed version of the proposed budget is available at the central office and is also on our website. Dr. DeBrito presented a picture of a thriving district with many successes. As a board, we expect excellence in education. We made that first step when hiring a driven and exacting new superintendent. We expect excellence in leadership, in learning from our entire district team, all working together for our students. We have a wonderful community in East Haddam. Our schools are a reflection of us. Investing in students makes our community thrive. We are proud of our schools. Keep in mind that all budget meetings are available on YouTube and are open to the public. Dr. DeBrito will be returning to the Board of Finance on March 20th to continue with the Board of Education budget details. Also, I'd just like to make people aware, today was CABE, which is the Connecticut Association of Boards of Education. It was their day on the Hill in Hartford, and several board members, including myself, Sean, Terry, and Jim, as well as Dr. DeBrito, attended. Teachers from other districts also brought students with them to advocate for education. There were at least 10 student advocates. This is an opportunity to get leaders in education together to impact legislative decisions at the Capitol. Today we discussed many concerns, including unfunded mandates, special education, transportation for special education, and the excess cost share. So hopefully moving forward, we will be seeing some benefit to our poor budget finance situations from federal and state monies. All right, so the next piece on our agenda is the CAS Middle School of the Year finalist, Principal Northcutt presentation.
Good evening. So I just wanted to present on the Connecticut Association of Schools. We were a runner-up for the School of the Year finalist for middle school. So
So this is just a video that we created, and the video will focus on collaboration, building thinking classroom, student leadership. This is an example of the Noisemaker Takeover Day, and the students do this throughout the year. Our students, and especially our 4th grade students, 5th grade students, they enjoy it. They get to see leadership and kind of have that collaboration with the 8th graders as well. And in order to apply for the award, what we had to do is we had to fill out an application, and it had about maybe 10 questions or so, and you had to answer the questions within 500 words or less. So we put the questions together, gave it to the staff, and they all filled out different things that they do within their classrooms that align with the questions. The one central theme that kept coming up was the Noisemaker program and also student leadership within the school. Underneath every question, we had about like 5 over 50 details that we could include for the answer. After that, after highlighting our Noisy News, Unified Sports, and our Noisemaker program, and also the leadership within the school, we submitted our application, and we were told that we were one of the finalists, which is pretty amazing. They said that they had a lot of applications this year. And some of the quantifiable data that we used, we have sent so far 10,464 messages through Parent Square. Teachers are allowed to dedicate an hour of their time for professional learning, for having positive communication with parents. Also, some teachers, they send out their own like Friday snapshots to parents of what they've done through the week. We have 100% parent or positive communication. So before we even started the school year, teachers reached out to the parents of their homeroom students, and to have that positive rapport, because as we're learning about restorative practices through the work of Ms. Erlinson and also Ms. Peterson, in order to repair something, you have to build it in the first place. So we spent time just building a positive rapport as a staff and also with parents and students. Also, we have 100% for IAB and also ICA, so meaning that teachers and the core classes, they're using IABs, which is an interim assessment block, to prepare their students for like the upcoming SBAC testing, but they're doing it in a fun way, so we're not teaching towards the test. We have taken our final ICA in January, and now we're pausing to really look at the data and figure out how we can inform Tier 1 instruction. And for our site visit, the Noisemaker program was instrumental. They led the committee members around the school, and they really took the lead on this. And the Noisemaker program as a whole, it utilizes the Circle of Courage, and that's a model for positive youth development based on indigenous techniques. And the reason why I say that is because for generosity, the Noisemakers, they model kindness and encourage students to give back, and they start that in 4th grade. So the 4th graders know about the Noisemaker Takeover Days, and then when they get to be 8th graders and they're applying to be Noisemakers, they already know what to do. Next, for the belonging quadrant, it is difficult sometimes, especially like coming into a new school. So the Noisemakers, they buddy up with new students who are coming to our school. And also, they create a welcoming and inclusive atmosphere. That was some of the feedback that we received. Also, for the mastery component of it, the Noisemakers, they encourage students to take pride in their learning and also their personal growth. As Mr. Kendrick Moore, who's been our guest speaker this year, he says everything matters, and that's something that they really honed in on in our school as a whole. And speaking and going with that, for the independence portion of it, they have students, they take ownership of their learning. This year I wanted to do at 8 to celebrate, and that's something that 4th grade does for testing, and the Noisemakers, they took that and transformed it, and they really got the student body to take ownership over their testing and also how they're achieving in school. And I generally feel the Noisemakers, they are successful because of the strong leadership. Ms. Masterson, Mr. Blaine, and Ms. Sodi, they are the leaders of the Noisemaker program, and they model like the Circle of Courage, and they also live it. So you have observatory apprenticeship where the students are seeing what their teachers are doing and emulating it. Preparing for the site visit, we had 4 different routes that we took committee members on, and the Noisemakers, they led each route. But what we did first was we had some parents come 24 to them, and you only had 25 minutes to cover all the ground and to talk about everything like within the classroom. So they practiced during the practice for the site visit, while also on their own as well with Ms. Masterson or Mr. Blaine and Ms. Sodi. Next, for the actual site visit, these are our Noisy News, and they're like the press for the school. So they were around their whole time taking pictures. And when the committee members first came in, they were interviewed by our Noisy News reporters, and they said that was the first time they've ever been interviewed. And I actually have the article that the reporters wrote. It's pretty amazing. They went through all of the routes and also some of the interview questions as well. And the Noisy News, they are under the leadership of Ms. Masterson as part of the enrichment course. And they do... They do a bulk of their work outside of school. They collaborate a lot, and I think they have about like 10 issues now. And one thing that I like as we're speaking to inclusivity is they talk about unsung heroes. So Ms. Sikorsky was front page of one of the articles, and they talked about all the wonderful things that she did. For the welcoming committee, that was our unified sports. So when the committee members first came into the school, they were greeted by members of our unified sports. And something that was pretty amazing to me was we were practicing up into the visit, but one day I didn't call a practice, and they all came down in the morning to practice their lines and what they wanted to do, and they led that on their own, so they took ownership of it. The entire site visit was through student leadership, so the noisemakers, they took the committee members around, Noisy News, they performed an interview, and our unified sports, they greeted them. We also had parents, board event members, and staff members who were involved in the process. It was a all hands on deck heavy lift. And this is Mr. Blaine. He was just announcing the next school. When we found out we were runner-up, he was telling the students how wonderful they are and what they were impressed by with the student leadership, and that we were runner-up for the competition. Although we were not recognized as Middle School of the Year, we were recognized for our exemplary school climate practices. So we will be amongst the other schools that were listed here. And a big reason for that is the student leadership, so the Noisemaker program, our unified sports, Noisy News, and all of the student leadership that we have within the school building. So with the theme of just reading books and reading in general, one book that I really like is What Do You Do With an Idea? And I like the last page because it says, what do you do with an idea? You change the world. So if we're thinking about ideas, Noisy News, that was a student-led idea under the guidance of Ms. Masterson. And so they're changing the school community with that, leading with inclusivity, making sure that all students are recognized, that everyone's seen. In the article that you have in front of you, they asked if you want to write a paragraph, then you can submit that. Another idea was Mr. Purnell's. It was the golden shoe. So we had some fourth graders who were forgetting to bring their shoes to gym. So we had a competition. And when he handed this out, you would have thought it was actual gold. Students were screaming. Teachers were competing. One teacher was behind by 1 point, so it was close for next time. And that's an idea that he had in his Venturous Health. We have the paper mache cell model, and that's what Mr. Miller made with his class. And it was really about, again, inclusivity and belonging, because the entire 6th grade were able to work on that, and they did it collectively. And he let them problem solve the entire time. And then we have the noisemakers, and that idea was from Mr. Blaine and Ms. Masterson, who had the idea of them giving tours before the actual site visit. And then we have the 4th grade team, and Ms. Quinn had the idea of Read Bowl. And from Read Bowl, as a school, we read 107,000 minutes in 322 minutes. So we were able to read a lot, and all that comes from the idea within our school. And I have a virtual portfolio that we made for the competition. It has a QR code so you can see it, and it has our videos, everything that we're currently doing at Nathan Hillary Middle School. Thank you. Are there any questions?
really wonderful. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Dr. Lockwood?
I don't have a question. I just wanted to make a few comments that I think it's really great that you're able to offer the time to teachers and staff to send those personal messages home, and great that you have the administrators and the staff to support that. And I also wanted to say thank you to your admins and Miss Masterson and the Noisemakers for helping make our elementary school dance so positive and inclusive and fun, because they basically ran the event. So that was really great, so thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? I'll make a comment. I was picked as a parent/board member, and I thought you really picked a great group of parents with a lot of different perspectives. I am a little disappointed that you got second place. I was really rooting for you guys for number one, but you can always try again next year, right? And I'm really proud of you guys. I personally was really nervous. My son's in 4th grade, about sending him from the elementary school to this big middle school, and I'm really impressed. It's been a really great school year for him personally, and I'm really impressed by all the staff. It's really been, that's it. I'm impressed. Thank you.
Well, the Board of Ed would like to thank you and the entire middle school for all of your efforts. Thank you so much. This is really, it's so nice to see our schools shine in this type of a light. It really does reflect how much energy is going in, and it's a really wonderful, wonderful thing.
So that's for you. This is for you.
Thank you. Thank you. On behalf of East Haddon Public Schools, all the admin, we got together and we have like a little token in front of you that say thank you. Thank you.
I love that you also use the word thrive as well. I think that's really what we're doing right now in the district, is thriving. And it's really so wonderful.
And that's from Best Buddies. The card is saying thank you from Best Buddies.
This is totally on Terry. She really brought this to the board, and thank you so much for finally getting this launched. It's wonderful. Okay, so next we'll have our high school representatives.
All right. So, National Honor Society students took a trip to Trinity College 2 weeks ago and participated in a leadership conference with other NHS conferences around the state. And they worked with other leaders, honoring their leadership skills and collaboration in various workshops and activities. Repping our school, we are proud to announce that Sarah Evans was also named Vice President for the Connecticut Association of National Honor Society. So she made a little speech on the spot, and she was elected by all NHS members from the state to be the Vice President, which is really cool.
On Thursday, March 6th, the Straight from the Heart members celebrated Read Across America Month by reading to elementary school students. They aim to promote a love for reading with young minds through various books and stories.
On Friday, March 7th, both the high school and middle school student council members attended the CT Association of Student Councils Leadership Conference, and our Hillray leaders attended and experienced several different leadership lessons and gained a lot of knowledge from the field trip.
Throughout March, the Class of 2025 Student Council held their annual ping pong tournament. As a result, Mr. Eckert and Mr. Berry came on top as the champions against Mr. and Mrs. Boccaccio.
With the school year coming to an end and graduation coming closer, seniors have begun announcing their decisions on what they'll be doing after high school, so we kind of just wanted to highlight some decisions that have been announced already. So Bridie Kennedy will be attending CCSU and majoring in nursing. Chloe Dorr will be attending Middlesex Community College and major in automotive technology. Ella Floyd will be attending Endicott College and major in fashion merchandising. Eden Friedis will be attending SCSU and majoring in nursing. Kosa Farina will be attending Pace University and major in biochemistry. And I will be attending UConn and majoring in nursing.
Mrs. Rosada's UConn ECE HDFS class took a field trip to the University of Connecticut on Monday, March 10th, where students sat through a lecture on their class, and also got to take a tour around the child labs. This was a great opportunity for students to prepare for college lectures, and students enjoyed lunch at the Yukon Union afterwards.
Girls basketball finished their season strong, making appearances in both the Shoreline Conference semifinals and the Class S state quarterfinals. And Mia Pashadi and Mackenzie Purdell were named second team all-conference, as well as Nikki Sikorsky being an honorable mention. And senior Mackenzie Purdell, it was just announced yesterday, I believe. She will be selected to represent our school at the Senior All-Star Game on Tuesday, March 18th at Mercy High School, which is super exciting.
Basketball senior Aiden Brown was named honorable mention All-Shoreline Conference.
And this Sunday, March 16th, Unified Sports will be taking the court during halftime of the Basketball State Championships at Mohegan Sun. And they will be playing Valley Regional at 10 a.m. So good luck to them.
Drama Club is excited to announce that this year's musical Beauty and the Beast will take place on March 28th at 7 p.m. and March 29th at 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. General admission is $12 and tickets for students and seniors are $8. Hope to see you guys there. And that's all for our report.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for the high school reps?
Congratulations on your
Yeah,
major
congratulations.
Okay. All right, we have audience of citizens. I can see that the room is bursting at the seams. So if anybody has anything to say. Okay. We'll move forward to action on the minutes. I need a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes for February 12, 2005.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, great. All right, now we have the report from the superintendent of schools. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Okay. If there are no further questions or comments, all right, good. That motion passes.
Well, you got to
We
take
have to
the
do
vote.
all those in favor.
Oh. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Now, we can move forward. Motion passes. We have a report from the superintendent of schools, Dr. DeBrito.
Good evening, everyone. As you know, today was Cave on the Hill Day, and it was great to be there and hear about the strength in the state for pushing for funding for special education. That was a big topic of discussion, so looking forward to legislation moving in that direction. Want to also share that this week I presented on behalf of the Board of Ed to the Board of Finance, and like you've heard, we're going to return on March 20th. Happy to meet with individual Board of Finance members and continue the dialogue that I started as well, but I will return with the requested items. We had some hiccups this morning with the bus. We did have 2 drivers who overslept. We did change the clocks this week, and all kinds of things happen after that. So hopefully that won't continue. Unfortunately, there were a couple of accidents. This week, there was a car accident with a bus. 3 students on the bus at the time, and families were called right away. The police did a report. We followed up the next day. The nurse follows up. I personally spoke with the parents as well. And then last week, it was a bus rolled into another bus while dropping off at the elementary school. No injuries at all, but again, I called and spoke to all the families. Last week as well, on Friday, that high wind and just kept messing with the power at the elementary school, and we were delayed, then we were on, and then we were not, and so unfortunately I had to close school, and so we'll figure that out as we progress through the school year. Great presentation today, and congratulations to the entire middle school community. They yesterday were given a catered lunch to recognize all of the hard work and effort, and really we're just hitting the surface with the greatness that exists in the district. In regard to security and safety, I had sent out a letter a couple of weeks back to the families and staff about measures we've been taking to make our schools safer, more secure, including locking the exterior door. If you recall, anytime you go to the school, the exterior door would be unlocked, and then you'd be in the vestibule area, and there would be other locked doors. Well, now there's an extra layer where all exterior doors are locked, and we do have a buzzing system with an intercom to speak to the office, and that has been installed everywhere and is working, because middle school was first and elementary now is done. Okay. And in that letter, I also had set up opportunities for families to come and talk to me in person, virtual. So that was last week for those 3 sessions. And something important to share is that with law enforcement and our own security staff and administrators, we internally do exercises to build our capacity and really think through scenarios. They're called tabletop exercises. So I already had one with law enforcement, and we're having all the admins join tomorrow with law enforcement. So just want to share that information with you. I had fun reading at the elementary school as well. Definitely prepared. I had handouts for them. They had to do work after. It was great. And I've also been spending time at the high school during lunch to just talk to kids, see how they're doing, how their high school years are going, asking them, are you sure you don't want to return to middle school? Like, we could bump you back if that you prefer. Just having fun with them. They're all smiling at me. I really didn't. Nobody took me up on that offer. But I don't want to forget the strategic plan. It shows up on our website. Communication went out. I sent out a letter. Board chair sent out a letter. Want to make sure that we're nearing the close of that opportunity, that first opportunity, before we actually have focus groups. But just a reminder. And that's what I have so far. Thank you.
Great. Any questions for Dr. DeBrito?
What is the schedule for the focus groups?
So the buckets of the focus groups will come from this initial survey, and that will then, we'll have that timeline. Okay. So yeah, we're not rushing. We want to make sure that people have an opportunity, and we adjust if we need to. So thank you for that.
Anybody else?
I've got to ask a question that you may not want to answer. Don't have an answer. What is the tentative situation with the elementary school last day? Because that would be separate from the middle school, high school?
Correct. Right. They have a day to make up. The students do and the staff. That's correct.
So tentatively, middle school, high school would end Friday
the day before,
June 13th, and then elementary school would end Monday the 16th if we had no more further closures.
However the calendar is. I thought we went till Monday already.
We do.
I believe we have enough snow days that the last day of school is potentially Monday already.
Unless they did, we usually build in 181 days for our calendar.
Correct, that is with 181 days. The last day of school is Monday for middle and high, and Tuesday.
Do we back up the day? Didn't we do that the last few years?
We didn't do that last year. No, we went 181 for the students and 185 for the staff.
Must have been the year before. We backed up to 180 if you trimmed off a day.
You have done that in the past.
Okay. All set?
All set.
Okay. Anyone else?
Do you know what time the next Board of Finance, Board of Education meeting is?
We're thinking it's at 4:30. We looked it up. I couldn't quite see it online. We were trying to check. We believe it's 4:30.
Okay, cool.
If anybody, I didn't see a time for that, but maybe it's already posted.
I had a very difficult time finding it on the website, but I was just emailed from the library.
The video of it? The recording of it, Laurel? of the previous meeting? Is that what you're saying?
Board of Finance on
The
now
calendar.
on the website does say March 20th at 4:30.
Yeah,
March
March 12th
Okay.
at 4:30.
Okay. Thank you.
Here, same room.
All right, anybody else? Okay. All right, moving forward, we have committee reports. We'll start off policy instruction. Jim?
Thank you. We met on last Thursday, which was the 6th. It was an evening meeting for change. I continue to be grateful and impressed by the people I work with. We get a lot of work done and work collaboratively very well. We're from different walks of the political life, and it's pretty much irrelevant. So that's always very rewarding. Our next meeting, in case anyone is interested, will be on the 4th of April. That'll be a morning meeting, 10:30 in the morning. We have 3 policies for you to look at tonight. One is regarding weapons and dangerous instruments, and it is essentially an update. It's not a tremendously complicated change or anything like that. There's a policy 0521 on non-discrimination, and this is another one of the ones that's getting updated in response to changes with Title IX and things like that. And then the last one is a state requirement. We have to have kids complete the federal financial aid form, and so we have to adopt a policy on that. We're also recommending that we delete one policy, 5131.2, which is the old, now outdated weapons and dangerous instruments policy. So it's basically a swap. I want to draw your attention to one thing regarding the consent agenda. Just make sure I got the right one here. Policy 4117.3. Was that right? Nope, that's not the one I'm looking for. My mistake. Okay, I find it I'm looking for. Oh, here it is. 3171.11. This is a second read kind of thing. We've already seen it. You've already seen exactly what would be going into policy. There was a clerical error, so in the sheets that we normally get that we then put into our policy books when the policy is accepted for a second reading and goes on the consent agenda, you don't actually have everything correct in your packet here. We can get that corrected. I'm asking that we not allow a clerical error to force us to not finish the policy off, because nothing's changed from last month when you guys first saw it.
What number was that?
Yes.
It's 3171.11. No, damn it, that's the wrong one too. I'm sorry.
Okay, just want to make sure.
No, it's me. Why can't I find it?
Do you remember what it's about?
Hang on. My stuff's all mixed up. That's the problem. Is this all yours?
Mm-hmm.
I'm missing some pages of my stuff, I think.
Would it help to read the ones that are on the agenda?
Hang on one second. This is interesting. I think you actually have all the pages, and I didn't. I'm losing my mind here. You know what I'm talking about? Because you saw it too, right? Which policy was it?
The graduation policy? I don't see it on the consent agenda. It's not on the agenda. That's graduation. That's not.
Which one was
You're
that?
talking about 1330, I believe.
4,000.1, 4,200.1. I think that must be the one. I think.
Title IX policy?
It is, yeah, it's related to that. I think that's the one I'm talking about.
Jim, this is what Dr. DeBruto's pointing out.
Start at number 4. Okay.
Yes.
That's 1330.
1330,
Well,
number 4.
But I think she had all of it when I looked at her
It's not on.
packet.
It's not on.
I don't see it.
I'm so confused. All right, well, since it's not on the agenda, we'll ignore that until we figure out what's going on.
Okay. Okay, let me get reorganized here so we can know where we are. Okay, so we're skipping that. We're done with policy instruction, Jim?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, moving forward to business and planning, Kira.
Oh, I've been lagging behind, guys. I gotta make you meet with me at some point soon, very soon. Sorry.
Okay.
No, not yet.
All right, so personnel and negotiations has not met. I'm trying to think, did we meet since the last meeting? All right, next group is East Haddam School Capital Improvement, Kira.
We met on Wednesday, February 26th, for about 5 minutes.
Okay.
We just approved some invoices, and the elementary school HVAC project is underway, so.
It looks so good. Like the new like where they put in the new systems. It looks so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, moving forward, learn, Terry.
We met on February 13th, and our special guest this month is Dr. DeBrito. And we were so excited. Dr. DeBrito, do you want to speak to what you spoke of while we were there? Sure, I can summarize.
What your takeaway was.
So, Dr. DeBrito spoke to 4 main principles, and she cited the 4 disciplines of education for educators. And she spoke to 4 principles, the first one being strategic focus on student achievement, prioritization of wildly important goals, WIG, and data-driven decision-making, as well as collaboration and accountability. So those were the 4 focus areas that she spoke to in terms of how we're shaping our educators and the messaging that is going to our children. I hope I summarized that correctly.
That's what the board has tasked me with.
Yes. Lauren also went over state funding, budget considerations. Special education was a huge part of that conversation, which we heard about earlier. They also spoke about early childhood education and that they're receiving a new state-funded endowment that'll provide some free child care for families that are earning under $100,000. So that was interesting to hear. There were some magnet school funding concerns that they spoke about. And then they gave us some basic regional updates and initiatives that they were undertaking, new hires, potential regional human resources support. They're exploring some shared HR services models to help districts that are struggling with compliance and staffing needs. So I thought that might be an important takeaway. They have a new infant toddler program expansion, and it's at the Friendship School, and they're waiting on approval from the OEC on that. And then they had their disability summit. I don't know if anybody else here was able to attend that. I was able to attend, and it was absolutely phenomenal. There were over 200 plus attendees in terms of the vendors that were there. But my understanding is that they had a walkthrough of thousands of people. And I can understand that because it was an all-day event and it was phenomenal. So I really enjoyed attending that. They talked to some legislative advocacy and district support, as well as the regional services growing. So district feedback, from what we understand, has been really positive about LEARN's regional support services, and that includes nursing, IT, HR, and business office services. So that's pretty much a wrap on what the meeting was about.
Any questions for Terry? Did they have speakers at the Disability Summit like they've done in the past?
They did.
Little workshops?
They had 9 breakout sessions, and one of the requests that I put in at that meeting, because I was not able to attend the breakout sessions, I actually brought my son with me. And one of the things that we ran into as a hurdle was his sensory issues, being able to withstand being in that room with all those people. So I wasn't able to attend, and I specifically asked, can you help families out that really wanted to, but unfortunately could not attend, and we were registered. So they're going to be looking into hosting those or being able to do that in the future. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, that sounds great. Okay, anybody have anything else? All right. Ray Board. Sean is not here. Who else is on Ray Board?
Oh, I'm sorry. We have not met. We had a meeting scheduled, but it was canceled. Do you know why, Teresa?
It was scheduled, it was canceled, it was rescheduled.
Yeah, and our last...
It was canceled on Monday, the day of.
Yeah, and we haven't had one in quite a while, so...
All right, long range. Is that you, Kira?
Me? No, we have not met. Again.
Has not met?
No.
Okay. And safety and security, Patty isn't here. Do you want to speak to that, or is there anything to say?
Well, I gave a little update, but we meet every few months, so we're meeting again this week too. So that will be.
All right, good. Okay, old business, there is none. New business. Discussion and possible action on deleting policy 5131.2, weapons and dangerous instruments. Jim, do you want to walk us through that?
Yeah, I kind of did already. It's basically just, it's an outdated policy. We looked at CABE's version, which is updated and compliant with current regulations and laws and stuff. And it doesn't make sense to have 2 policies addressing the same issue on the books. And when one of them's old, you delete it. And that's what we're suggesting. That's all it boils down to.
All right. So can I have a motion on this?
So moved.
And a second is Terry. Good, thank you. And all in favor?
Aye.
Next is discussion and possible action on the following policies for first reading. Policy 5131.7, weapons and dangerous instruments.
This is the updated policy that I was just referencing.
Right. Does anybody have anything to bring up or be concerned about with any changes that are here?
I have a question.
Okay.
This is just in regards to students, right? It's not just like the policy that covers students, not
Yeah.
the general public. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Anything else? Okay. All right. Anyone else? Okay. Can I have a motion? And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Next policy is 0521, non-discrimination. And I'm going to assume, is this another deletion because we have a different policy we're going to be moving into because it's not connected in the pile here?
I am trying to figure that out. 0521. It is in the pile. The old policy appears behind it for some reason.
Not in my pile.
It's in your big packet.
Yeah, it's in your big packet. It's not in the separate pile.
Yeah, I'm looking at my big packet.
Pages after.
Look at the
Oh,
policy.
wait, I'm sorry, I picked up 2 pages at once. Sorry. Okay, so we're back to 0521. Anybody have any questions or concerns?
Can I make an edit?
What would you like, and we'll talk about it.
This is only to show you I actually read all of them.
Well, brag if you want to. It's fine. I read them all too. It's incredible.
Boy Scouts is now called Scouting America.
Ooh.
Where is this?
In the non-discrimination in school and classroom practices.
Oh, I see it.
I see that. So what's it called now?
Scouting America.
Shall provide without this course on counseling assistance employment.
All right, can I have a
Equal access
motion
to
to
Scouting
accept
America?
Policy 0521 with the change in the first section, non-discrimination in school and classroom practices, to change Boy Scouts to Scouting America?
Still moved.
All right. And second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. And I think now we take a separate motion on whether we should pass the amended policy. That's what Patty usually does.
That's fine. I just included it though in the first motion.
Oh, she said it in the first motion.
I didn't catch that. My
That's
mistake.
fine. I said, is it okay to accept policy 0521 with the change in the first paragraph, non-discrimination in school and classroom practices, changing Boy Scouts to Scouting America?
You're all set.
Okay, good. All right, policy 6148, FAFSA completion program. Does anybody have any concerns or questions on this policy? I do.
I'm going to take your place with the answer.
Yeah,
I like it tonight. Sorry. So this is a state. I didn't have enough time really to research.
It's state law. We're required to adopt this policy.
Even if you don't need financial aid, you have to fill it out.
It doesn't.
It's kind
It
of
doesn't make any sense to me. I'm just going to say this personally, because what if you're not going to college, in the military?
given the strong push toward providing a broader spectrum of education. You know, when I was still in the business actively, especially early in my career, every school counselor on the planet was pushing every kid on the planet to go to a four-year college. Somewhere along the line, people figured out that doesn't actually work, and that there are different people with different interests. So now we're sort of very much shying away from that. Despite that, this is what the law is. So, to me, it's incredibly counterintuitive, but what the heck?
Okay, so policy 6148. Does anybody else have any questions or concerns? Okay, can I get a motion?
I move that we accept that on first reading and approve it.
Yeah. And second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, acceptance of the consent agenda, numbers 1 through 10. Policy 4000.1/4200.1/5145.44, sexual harassment, Title IX, the second reading. Policy 4111.1/4211.1, affirmative action, recruitment and selection, as a second reading. Policy 5144.12, restorative practices, as the second reading. Policy 6172, alternative education programs, as a second reading. Approve the high school field trip to Boston Museum of Science for March 24, 2025. Approve the high school field trip to the Metropolitan Museum of Art, March 27, 2025. Excuse me. Approve the high school field trip to Newport Mansions, March 31st, 2025. Approve the approve the middle school field trip to Boston Freedom Trail, May 16, 2025. acceptance of the following resignations. Courtney Desatel, middle school hall monitor. Isaiah Hicks, middle school paraeducator. Stacy Woods, middle school counselor. Laura Mercier, middle school paraeducator. Mary Little Finnegan, high school counselor. And acceptance of the following appointments. Mackenzie Queso, elementary school paraeducator. Erin Conway, middle school paraeducator. May I have a motion for the consent agenda?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, great. All right, we move to the end here where you have motion to move into executive session, discussion, and possible action on a response to a request for proposal regarding legal services. Discussion proposed for executive session in accordance with Connecticut General Statute Section 1-210B-24 and Connecticut General Statute Section 1-200-6E and include the superintendent in this invitation.
So moved.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. We're going to adjourn the meeting and move into executive session. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, we're not, Laurel, we can't adjourn the meeting because we have to be here.
Just following my notes.
I know, I'm just trying to say something to you. We can't adjourn the meeting because we cannot make a decision about whatever we're about to talk about unless it's in public. So we can go into executive session and then we have to come back, and if we need to make a motion to do something.
Make a motion to adjourn. She just said it, but she only made a motion.
I understand that, but she also said we're adjourned.
I know.
Thank you. Thank you. All right.
And I,
Didn't burn the house down, so we're all good.
no, not at all.
All right.
Which was recording,